Experiment 933. The experiment with Rich Herrera. The 933. Experiment 933.
You know, when I met Tim Timberlake, he said, we just would come in and wing the show at times. And I was like, well, we do all this research and we put together the scripts and we know where we're going. A lot of times we just walked in, talked about our lives. He and Alden Aro for all those years here on News Radio WRVA. Why don't we try that style today on the 933 experiment? You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes it's mayhem. Sometimes it's chaos. Sometimes it's very touching. Sometimes it's very aggravating. You just don't know why, because they turn things over to you, our audience here on News Radio WRVA. So I'll throw out a couple things for you. Number one, first and foremost, there's a lot of people, Super Dave, that listen to talk radio, but they never call. How many times do you get first time, long time listener?
Oh, lots, yeah.
Right? Have you ever
I
called?
say that like only 2% of your listeners ever call.
Right. Have you ever called into a talk radio show?
No.
I think I called Rush Limbaugh once when I was a kid. And I got on the air, but I was on hold for like 3 hours to get on the air. So I got on once for like 2 seconds.
I promise we won't, if the listeners call, we won't keep you on hold for 3 hours.
Okay, promise that. So I think that's really the only time I've ever called into a talk show, but I love talk radio. I listen to talk radio all the time. I listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to talk radio all the time. So if you've ever listened and you yell at me or you high-five me in your car, call me. I actually like to hear your voice. Tell me what you think. 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. So, listen, I'll make it easy for you. What are you doing this weekend? Dave is going to sit at home and be salty.
Those are some of my best weekends.
Now, Dave's a big reader, right?
Yeah, I do read a lot. It's been a few days since I read, so I'm overdue.
Should we start a book club?
As long as it's something I want to read.
I'm
pretty picky about what I read.
What do you read?
A lot of biographies, a lot of history.
Okay, then I'm right there with you. I watch more YouTube now.
I still read a lot, but YouTube is gaining fast.
Yeah, I read a lot. I watch a lot of YouTube and learn that way. I'm just lazy and don't read enough. I tried to for Lent just to take a couple minutes to read. And I just saw this story that Americans are losing the ability to actually sit down and read a book. So as soon as my son goes back to school, I am going to, Dave, try to take at least 1 or 2 days a week and just take an hour and just sit there and read a book.
For me, it's relaxing.
It is. And I don't have enough relaxation in my life because I'm just, okay, you tell people how I am.
You don't stop.
It's annoying.
Always on the go. Yeah.
Is it annoying?
It is so annoying. and then you say, I go, why are you calling me? And you say, well, I'm always on the go. I go, well, don't ruin it for people that aren't always on the go. Some of us can turn it off.
How much do you cringe when I come back? Hey, this is what I worked on over the weekend.
I say, okay, well,
good for you.
Good for you.
Usually Dave looks at me and goes, that's good for you. Okay.
I'm okay with you doing it on Monday, but don't call me on Saturday on something that's for Monday
Dave,
morning.
I'm thinking about doing this in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Let me know in 2 weeks.
So just as simple. If you've never called the show before, just what are you doing this weekend? Make it easy. First time caller. That way I get to hear your voice. 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. And then the other one, maybe this will spur you in to join us on the experiment today. I need to start doing more in the community. So I've been working behind the scenes to do some stuff. We're making a big announcement on Monday. Jeff and I, the radio station, are teaming up to do something for the passion projects both of us have. So Jeff is such a great supporter of law enforcement, former police officer. There's no one who's a bigger supporter of law and order and law enforcement than Jeff Katz. Because of my son, I'm now looking for ways to pay it forward for military families and our veterans. And I met with some officials We're going to try to roll some things out here on Richmond's Morning News. But Jeff and I are going to team up. We're going to make this big announcement on Monday about an event that we're going to have, something where it's going to go on. Contracts aren't signed yet, so I can't tell you what we're doing, but we're going to support law enforcement and first responders and our military families. And we'll make that announcement Monday morning. But if you have something that you think we should support, I'd love to hear from you. 833-804-1140, like Tech for Troops. I talked to those guys the other day. I'm going to see if I can line up something with them. Reads Across America. I've got some ideas for that. So what are some things in the community that we might want to support? And if it leans right into mine of supporting our veterans and our military, let's see what we could do. 833-804-1140. 833-804-1140. Somebody said, Rich, you mentioned the experiment this morning. You're looking for suggestions worthwhile to get involved in a Richmond. Let me suggest Mary's Choice RVA, a home for unwed mothers. That's a great one. By the way, they're having a yard sale, Mary's Choice RVA, this weekend as well. So it's at St. Edward's Catholic Church today and tomorrow. That's from Tony in Midlothian. Thank you. That's a great one. These are the couple that I read that I was just laughing at. So this one was, you criticize Graham Plattner, yet you praise Trump, who is paying a woman right now $5 million for sexual assault. It wasn't sexual. I don't think that's necessarily the right term. Your leadership doesn't take accountability for nothing. You just look the other way. It's embarrassing. Do better, but I doubt you will, because you need to say what your manager wants you to say. You make me laugh because you literally tell on yourself for every day and show yourself you're not a Trump supporter, but you self-incriminate every day, LOL. Oh, it's so funny, folks. Here's what I'll tell you. This is why I was laughing. I got this one. And this is for the person that always just, I told him, he always is just hammering on the GOP, giving me his ideas. And I told him, I said, listen, there's times you make me mad. There's times I smile. There's times you frustrate me. There's times you're insightful. There's times, but more than anything else, you make me think. And he says he enjoys the show. Says he knows I have a good heart and good intentions. That's what that's what made my day. Because I said when I took this over, I want to be able to bring people together so we talk, even if we don't agree. Love you, Rich. Wish I could put you in my pocket. When my liberal husband starts his stuff, you could just say, I can just pull you out and go get him, Rich. That made my day. Somebody else said, all the mean boys and girls, what's with that? You're sharp as a tack, cute as a bug, and lots of us are glad you're in Virginia. Standing off. That's outstanding. Oh, somebody said, I hope your first responders include 911 dispatchers. They get overlooked. Scott from King William.
Jack.
All right, let's go to Jack on line one. This is just like kind of free for all. Open phone lines on the experiment today. Jack, welcome. You're on News Radio WRVA.
Hi, surprised I was being put online. Tailwindsranch.org is a equine-assisted therapy ranch, recovery ranch for those active duty, retired military, or left the military, and emergency responders. 3 horses. It's a small organization, 1 clinician, and a bunch of volunteers to try to make it work. So if that's something you guys are willing and interested to help,
well, Jack, hold on. Give me the website again.
Tailwinds, TAILWINDS, ranch.org.
Is it local? Is it here in Virginia?
It's in James City. Near the Charles City line.
Okay. So explain to me, what do they do? Let's give them a big plug right now.
It's therapy for those who are dealing with PTSD,
Gotcha.
Excessive trauma, moral injury, if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
I hadn't before I started volunteering there.
Well, explain to people that you hadn't heard about it. So tell us what it is.
Basically, when you are involved in an incident where things go incredibly wrong,
right?
According to your moral compass,
Then you carry that. Right. You're put in a tough situation.
Yes.
Yeah, and you carry that around for you, and you carry that burden.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's moral injury. I think people are pretty familiar with PTSD and how trauma affects people.
Right.
Maybe not as much as we'd like for them to be, but certainly.
But at least we talk.
people
At least we
some
talk
of them
about it,
are-
right? At least we acknowledge it, and we're taking away the stigma of that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so
And there are ways to turn the corner and recover from that. So, and that's the main message: is that you can get help if you reach out. Please.
and by the way, that's the thing. That's the thing, Jack. A lot of these people that we're talking about, these brave soldiers, these brave warriors, these brave first responders. Okay, so Scott was talking about the 911 dispatchers. I mean, think about the stress that those people take on, and they volunteer to do that job. They sign up to do a job that you and I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do that. It's a stressful job. I think my job's stressful. Could you imagine being a 911 operator? Could you imagine you're a police officer with every intention and just something goes wrong and you got to carry that around? That's a lot of burden to have on these people's shoulders on a daily basis. So when they get out there with the equines, how does that, what do you see when it happens?
I usually take care of the professionals, the equines, the horses.
Okay.
They clean up a lot after them. The horses help during the therapy. It's cops and firemen, medics, military folks aren't the usual, hey, let's lay on a couch and talk for an hour about my deep feelings. They're not that type. So if it's a ranch atmosphere and there's dust and there's dirt and there's sweaty horses, and sometimes the horse sneezes on you or does something else near you, that's okay for these kind of folks. This is more normal for them than, hey, there's a couch, lay on there and tell me about your deep problems and feelings.
Right. It allows them to open up.
It's a welcome. Yep.
No, that's
and
it.
We can do things. We work with the horses and clients work with the horses and get to know them, understand how they receive information because it's way different than people. And understand that it can be a communication difficulty when you get frustrated and lash out at somebody rather than an intentional slight.
So and you work with the horses, you said?
Yes, I'm a servant to the horses. They're the professionals, and I just volunteer to help them out.
That is so awesome. All right. One more time, give me the name of the organization.
It is tailwindsranch.org, and Tailwinds is one of the owners is a retired Air Force colonel.
I was going to say
tailwinds or something that aircraft move more easily when they have tailwinds. So it's kind of a throwback to his work.
I'm writing that down.
Good folks working there.
Say that one more time.
Tailwindsranch.org.
Yeah.
And Tailwinds is related to aircraft.
No, I just wrote that down, and we'll follow back up with that. So can I just tell you this? You just made my day. You restore my faith in humanity. You go out there, do volunteer work with these beautiful animals, these horses, and then you're helping these first responders. You're helping these warriors, and I didn't really know much about what you were talking about, the moral injury, which I actually have a friend of mine who's a retired police officer in a major city, and he carries that burden around all the time. And it's hard for him to talk about.
Can I
Yeah.
Can I add in one thing about dispatchers? I've been a critical incident stress management here for about 15 years now, and dispatchers have always been a part of who we serve because they do have a terrible aspect to their job where they hear critical, nasty stuff happening. Cops are on the scene, cops get it under control and may not say anything to dispatch for like 4 or 5 minutes because we got things under control, we're safe now, and we don't think to tell dispatch, hey, the person that was shot is not one of our guys, not somebody you know, it's the bad guy or something like that. And we've had incidents where that's happened where a dispatcher sits there for 5 or 6 minutes, which lasts about 7 hours in dispatch time, where they think an officer, a medic, a fireman is hurt or killed, and it's not the case. So dispatchers have always been on.
Let me extend this out a little bit, right? Like I say, I like to go down the rabbit hole with this. Think about this. If your job as a dispatcher is just to take frantic calls from people that are facing life and death, and then you get a couple drunks that call in the middle, and a couple people that call the wrong number, or you get a crackpot. But then every time you pick up the phone, you don't know whether it's someone saying, "I'm about to be murdered. My child can't breathe." I mean, the stress that they take on from everybody else in our society, and for the police officers, you get to be there and actually do something. If you're a 911 operator, you're just taking that phone call, and the best you can do is try to get someone else to go there. You're not actually effectively touching someone to try to help them. That's got to be a burden that I don't know any of us really think about.
Absolutely. And they sit in a closed room for 12-hour shifts. And the bad call might be the first or the 41st of the shift, and they might have 6 more hours left.
And that's the thing that I don't think anybody understands about law enforcement. Okay, so you just pulled me over and you're in a bad mood, right? Okay. I'm coming from lunch and you're going to keep me from getting back to work on time. That's why I'm mad. If you're a little underdressed, you're a little stressed, you're a little peeved, you might have just come from the most gruesome child abuse situation you've ever seen 30 minutes ago, and that's weighing on your mind, and then you deal with me and I cop an attitude as soon as you get there. We don't think about that. We don't think about these people that are 911 operators that hear the worst. I mean, you're not even seeing the worst. You're hearing the worst that humanity could do to each other. And you see police officers, they see the worst that we do as to each other as human beings. And then we get upset when you see one and he's not smiling, asking you, "Hello, how are you? How can I help you? You were going 30 miles an hour over the speed limit. I got to pull you over, and you're giving me an attitude, but I just saw the most gruesome murder 5 minutes ago," and you wonder why I don't have a smile on my face.
That's true.
That's the one thing that I think I've learned in all of this when we were talking about, defund the police and the rest of this. I don't know if any of us understand truly what law enforcement goes through. You know what? I wrote down the number. I'll follow back up, tailwindsranch.org, see if we can bring somebody on and talk more about that. And you made my day.
Well, thank you. You're making my day.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. And by the way, Scott King Williams, you send us text messages all the time. That's the best text message you ever sent because you reminded me of something. Like I would do this when I would do sports radio back in the day, Super Dave. I would always volunteer to work on the weekends. Like this 4th of July that we spent with the family up in DC, first time I hadn't worked on national sports radio in like maybe 15 years. I'd always want to work on those days because I just kind of pay it forward because I knew there were first responders, firemen, people, and I always do a roll call. Where were you working that day? And 911 operators, somebody that we probably don't think of enough. Wow. All right. That's a good way to end up the show today. That's a good way to end the show today. All right. The national anthem coming up is brought to you by Freedom Services, a training the biggest little gun store in town located in Mechanicsville. That's going to do it for me. I'm going over to the Military Aviation Museum tomorrow for their luau over Virginia Beach. We'll be back on Monday morning. Super Dave and I hope you have a great weekend along with Gary Hess. Thank you so much for making us part of your morning. There's a reason I get up every morning without fail. It's because a couple things I feel like we got to stand up for: my family, my country. That's why we do it every morning here on News Radio WRVA.
Please stand for the national anthem of the United States of America.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early